this kind of intensity. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the slight interruption there. We took a little breather as the stream went down, and we want to make sure that as many of you fans get to see this and don't miss any of the action. So if the stream goes down again, we will pause and try and pick it up when we get it back online for you. Once again, just to recap, exciting times here at the Space. 6 of the very best in the world here to discuss their thoughts, their feelings. Irakli Zirakashvili of Georgia, decorated Georgian athlete who we've seen with success throughout the sport, throughout the weight classes. He has literally moved up from the 75 kilo class. He's going to be pulling against a much bigger athlete in the multiple world champion, multiple Brazilian national champion, and true legend of the sport of arm wrestling, Marcio Barbosa. The Brazilian phenom here with us tonight also. Arguably, the heaviest arm wrestling match in recent times will be contested between Alex Kodecha and Corey, United States of America, versus Poland. Will be our second match on the card here at King of the Table 4. That leaves one more match. But it's a big match. It's a very big match. In many people's minds, it may be the biggest and most significant arm wrestling match in the history of the sport. And the men sat either side of me right now have created a wave of enthusiasm in the sport of arm wrestling that's transcended the sport itself and created a wave of emotion that's rushed straight back at them from all 4 corners of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, Canada's No Limits, Devon Larratt, and the Georgian Hulk, Lavan Saganashvili. This weekend, Saturday night, if you have not got your pay-per-view, do it right now, because it's on. Let's get underway and start to speak to these guys. First of all, we're going to start with my good friend Marcio Barbosa, the Brazilian phenom. Marcio, how are you doing, mate?
How's it going? Ready to roll. Ready to roll.
Super excited, and it's nice to get a guy of your caliber on this card to kick things off. Now, you've pulled for many, many years, Marcio, 30 years in this game, and it's fair to say that you're battle-tested and battle-scarred. And guys like yourself who've been around the block so much, it's great to see you resurgent, and that is what you appear to be. You look like you're coming into this thing very, very well prepared, very enthusiastic, and in recent outings, you've looked like you've been right on point. But in Irakli, you're facing a younger man. You're facing a guy with a lot of momentum in recent competitions. And I wanted to know from you, do you sort of buy into the hype, mate? A lot of people are seeing you as a heavy favorite. In your mind, would you say that's true? Do you see yourself as a favorite coming into this thing?
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to be here. It is a remarkable card. And yes, I think Irakli is a very tough opponent. He got a very deadly weapon in his top roll. And I think it could be 50-50. In my mind, I could be a slight favorite because of experience. But listen, I'll change the experience for the youth anytime.
Now let's talk about experience a little bit, mate. Obviously, you've faced guys of the absolute optimum in terms of character. If we talk about size, you've pulled and beaten the Leviathan, Richard Lupkes. You've had wins, and more than one win, against John Brezink, the perfect storm, the greatest arm wrestler of all time. You're pulling a guy now who is making a name for himself, trying to emulate what you've done. Does that add some pressure to you? Do you feel like being a favorite, certainly in the eyes of the watching public, is a problem? Do you feel a little more nerves than you would ordinarily do, mate? Or are we looking at another day in the office here in the Space?
No, I've been doing this for 30 years. It's another day in the office, but I know that the challenge is tough, but I'll take as every other guy, you know. It's one more day, one more match, and I believe myself as a winner tomorrow.
So let's bring in your opponent, Irakli Zirakashvili of Georgia. Irakli, welcome to the show, mate. How are you doing?
Good.
Now, Irakli, I spoke to Marcio there about the fact that many of the fans, because of weight and size, are seeing him as the favourite. How do you perceive your chances here? Do you feel like you're the hunter or you're the hunted?
Marcio ძალიან გამოცდილი სპორტსმენია, წარმატებული, ძლიერი, წონით რა თქმა უნდა ჩემზე ბევრად დიდია, მაგრამ ეს გამარჯვება ძალიან ჭირდება და 50-50-ზე ვიტყვი, მაგრამ მაინც გამარჯვებული უნდა წავიდე დუბაიდან, გინდ მარჯვენა ხელის დატოვება აქ მომიწიოს.
He said that he's very experienced, we all know that, and he understands this, but he really needs this victory, so he's going to do everything to take it. He feels like this is his chance, so he needs to take it. He needs to take the
opportunity to show exactly how good he is.
Yeah.
Now,
but he also thinks that it's 50-50, just like he said.
Interesting. So both men, guys, see this as a lot more balanced than potentially a lot of the fans do. Really interesting insight. Let's see how these two big lads feel about that later on. Might be slightly different. One of the things I wanted to ask Irakli was, how important is weight here? Because a lot of the fans are basing their assumption on two things. Firstly, and we'll go to this one first, the size and weight advantage that Marcio's bringing into the match. He's a bigger man. Secondly, versatility, the ability to use different technical prowess in the match. I just wanted to get Irakli's thoughts on that.
არა რა თქმა უნდა, ეხლა მე რაც უნდა გამეკეთებინა, იგივეს გავაკეთებ. ეხლა ჩემზე 10 კილოთი მეტი იქნებოდა, 13-ით უკვე დიდი მნიშვნელობა არ აქვს. და
Yeah, what he said was it doesn't really make any difference if he would be like 10 kgs overweight, like bigger than him, or 13. He'd still stick to his plan, and he'll try to execute what he planned. So weight doesn't really affect his mental ability to overcome him.
Following on with that same line of questioning, how well does he know Marcio? Has he been studying Marcio? He's had the opportunity to do it.
He said, yeah, of course, surely, yeah. He's been.
And where does he see? Are there any chinks in this guy's arsenal? Are there any areas that Irakli can exploit?
Okay, that's exactly the answer to your question. He said he prepared exactly for his weaknesses. That he feels like he sees.
Is he prepared to sort of, even the night before, is he prepared to give us an idea of, I don't expect him to tell us what technique or style he specifically sees as being the weakness, but where would he see his advantages over Marcio? Can he be specific in an area of the sport that he feels he's got an advantage?
He said it's a secret.
Frosty's secret formula. Okay, no problem. So, Marcio, same question in a way. How much do you know about this guy?
I watched his matches when he was a lightweight, and it was very, very entertaining. His matches against some other, terrific top rollers, some good other guys, and then he jumped in weight. I think he's about 100 kilos now, and I know he's dreaming big, and I'm gonna put some brakes on it.
Now, we talked about the size a moment ago, and Irakli saying there that he feels size is not going to be an issue. It's not going to be a factor in this match. What I wanted to sort of get from you, Marcio, is the fact that if you look at both yourself and Irakli, you're boys that have progressed through the weight categories. Yourself from 85 kilos back in the day. I remember your first Worlds in your home nation in Brazil. Irakli, as you say, coming from the 75s. So often in recent times, we've seen you pulling against bigger men, natural giants. As I said earlier, Richard Lupke's, the bigger boys. In this instance, you get the opportunity to be the bully. You're the big man. How does that make you feel? Does that give you a different approach? Are you going into this mentally different?
No, I think like I said, he's a worthy opponent. Maybe weight won't be a big difference in this match. I think once you reach a certain level, and I believe Irakli is there, it doesn't make much of a difference. So I think like I said, I have the experience. He has the youth.
Now, we spoke earlier on, and you mentioned that maybe one of the advantages that you do have that's clear here is the experience. You have about as much experience probably as any man at the table. You've been there, done that, and the T-shirt's worn out. Now, when you look at a guy like Irakli, do you think that this kind of occasion, when the eyes of the world are so clearly on the sport like never before, do you think tomorrow's going to come down to a little bit of mental and he may buckle under that kind of pressure?
No doubt. That's another thing. I'm more mentally prepared than physically for this match. So I know what I want to achieve. So it's my next step. So I'm ready for it.
Listening to that feedback, Irakli, obviously this is a big test. You're a young man. You're sort of the new kid on the block and trying to establish that legendary status. When you look at the sport today, and coming from, this is a question that we're going to ask Lavan also, I want to make a point for the people who may not know the prominence from a cultural perspective of the sport of arm wrestling in Georgia, the nation that these two athletes are from, is as high as anywhere in the world. I mean, you guys are well known in your country. Does that add pressure to you coming into this? Do you feel like you've got the weight of the nation on your back?
Yeah, as you said it rightfully that it's a very popular sport in Georgia, and a lot of people are watching. And he said that now it plays positively on his mindset. He wants to prove himself even more, and he doesn't want to let anyone down and back home. So it's more and more confidence in him.
Now, the old adage is that you've got to want to win more than you're afraid of losing. Where does he stack up on that right now?
I can answer on his behalf. Of course, he wants to win more. He's not scared. Yeah. There's no fear.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, what an exciting match. We're going to bring those guys back in later on. And remember, as this thing goes on, we're going to ask some questions to the guys yourselves. And then we're going to go out to you guys and get some questions from the chat. So bear with us on that. We're going to move through to our next match, which is taking place in the super heavyweight division here at King of the Table 4. And as I said earlier, this may be, in recent times, the heaviest super match we've seen in the sport. One of these athletes over 200 kilograms in weight, and it isn't Alex Kadecha. When you get a guy of 150 kilograms and he's outweighed by 50 kg by his opponent, that gives you an idea of just how big these boys are. Ladies and gents, I want to introduce Poland's Alex Kadecha, the USA's Corey West. I'm going to start with you, Corey. Mate, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Corey, I spoke about your size. I spoke about the weight. The only thing that may outweigh your weight is the weight of expectation. Now, this is your first foray into the really big show. How are you feeling about this opportunity?
I feel good. You know, it's a pressure that I enjoy. Without it, I don't think I would be in the position I'm in. It just kind of drives you to be ready.
And when you look at your opponent, you look at Alex Kadecha. He's a guy that mirrors your own rise in the sport. He's a guy that's new, but he's extremely dangerous. Do you see him as the favorite in this match, or do you think you got something for him?
I would say he has to be the favorite when you look at it on paper. He's been in the world level quite a bit longer than I have. He's got, you know, huge wins compared to what I have. I think outside of the last, 6 months, I wouldn't have been, even close to ready. I think I've put myself in a special place lately. I like this match for me.
The quiet air of confidence. When you say you like the match, do you think there is something that you do very well that is going to shut this guy's game down?
I mean, that's obviously what I'm hoping for. You know, I've never faced anyone on his level, so this will be the true test on if my hand is almost, untop rollable. That's probably the strongest thing I bring to what I do. So it'll be a good test. I mean, I feel like it's just as likely that I shut him down as it is that he takes my hand. So it'll be interesting.
Now, we spoke yesterday, Corey, and you had a very, very positive, and I'm going to say a very mature attitude about this. You were trying to take pressure off yourself by seeing this as the first step on the ladder rather than the last. Now, how excited are you versus how nervous are you coming into this thing, mate? Are you feeling any pressure? It's fair to say you've not had the best run over. You lost your luggage on the journey over here, and a man of 200 plus kilos, it's not the easiest guy to kit out. Where's your sort of head at going into this? Are you very relaxed or are you nervous?
I'm definitely, I wouldn't say relaxed just because the luggage thing has been very aggravating. We've spent most of the time we hope to enjoy over here, trying to find clothes and trying to find, just anything that'll fit really. But as far as nervous, definitely at this point, it may change tomorrow. I'm not currently feeling any nerves. I feel excited about the match. I'm just ready to hear that first go.
It's coming, brother. It's coming. Alex Goretzka, welcome to the show. Poland's biggest, Poland's finest, Poland's most popular. How's life in the fast lane, Alex Goretzka?
First of all, happy to be here, to be part of this big show, probably the biggest arm wrestling show in the world. And I feel really excited about my match, of course. And like a viewer, I'm happy to watch the matches like Irakli and Marcio and Lavan and Devon. And to be the part, to be here on one stage, it's so amazing. It's so awesome, guys. Hope you share these emotions tomorrow with us, and we will show you the real show.
Now, Alex, it's very rare, I can imagine, that you come into the match where you're not the bigger athlete. And on this occasion, you're outweighed by 50 kilograms. There's got to be a new thing for you, right?
It's really interesting because first time in my life, the guy who's 50 kilos more than me will be my opponent. My weight is 150, and Corey weight is 200 kilos. So even compared to these superstars like Devon and Lavan, I'm 20 kilos more than Devon, and Corey 20 kilos more than Lavan. So we are really like the heaviest probably in the history of King of the Table. And what I feel, the words that it's not count how big the dog in the fight. It's count how big the fight inside the dog. So now I'm chilled and relaxed. But tomorrow, during the fight, probably you will be watching the old good Alex, which is a little bit more explosive during the fight. So it will be the bombs. Be ready for that.
Now, Alex, Corey spoke about the fact that he sees this as a very clear pattern. The hook versus the top roll. Diesel power, slow and strong, versus explosivity. The F1 car versus the tank. How does this go down tomorrow, mate? Do you have faith in the top roll?
Yeah, we as a bright representatives of hook power and top roll explosive power. So it's like two different styles. It's honestly, it can be one-way fight if somebody will be so confident during the setup and can fight in their favorite style, or can be the real war. Like nobody wants to give even inch to his opponent. Of course, I think it's a big chances that Corey will try to pull in the hook, and of course, it's big chances that I will try to pull in top roll. But how it will be, the table is showing us.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest matches in the history of the sport in terms of weight, in terms of size of athletes. Let's move on to introduce and to hear from our two main event athletes. One of the biggest matches in the sport's history in terms of everything. Ladies and gents, representing Canada, No Limits, Devon Larratt. Representing Georgia, Lavan Saganashvili. It's on here at King of the Table 4. The wait is over tomorrow night. It's showtime. And we're going to start with Devon Larratt. Devon, it's time, mate.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready. A lot of people have doubted me. A lot of people have said I had no chance. He's the bigger man. I think that a lot of things have been upsetting Lavon. I think Lavon likes to pretend like he's not worried. I think Lavon likes to fake. I think he's fake and sick right now, so he already has an excuse. I think he's already tired before we even step to the table. I'm going to bleed him. I'm going to make him quit. That's a foreshadowing for tomorrow night. It's going to be a fantastic day. We're all here. We all think it's our universe, but when Lavon and I are at the table, it's my reality. It's my world. I'm going to win. It's just a fact. It's my destiny.
Now, Devon, this is obviously not your first rodeo, mate. It is not your first time facing an opponent who's been universally recognized as the very pinnacle of this sport. You faced John Brzenk on the right arm back in Arm Wars Deepwater 2008. On the left arm, you faced Denis Siplenkov in the PAL. You also faced Andrei Pushkar. You have been around the block facing monster after monster after monster. In terms of your legacy, the ultimate head nod in the sport that you chose and have committed your life to, how does this match with Lavan Saganashvili compare to those former battles that you've known and have become legendary for?
John Brzenk was #1 in the world. Nobody can argue that John Brzenk's legacy will never be toppled. But I beat him. I beat him because I was a better arm wrestler. Andrei Pushkar, I beat him because he was young and he didn't understand arm wrestling. Rest in peace. I love Andrei Pushkar. He went on to become so much greater. I would not have beat him at the end of his career. Denis Siplenkov, never have I learned so much about what being a professional, what strength and commitment really is that I learned from that match. Every time I face a champion, I absorb a piece of them. Lavan Saganashvili represents Everest in the sport. He represents the strongest peak potentially that's ever lived, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I have more depth, and I want it more. I want it more than he does, so I'm going to do whatever it takes.
Ladies and gents, I think it's long overdue that we introduce the arm wrestler who right now, as we sit here tonight, is universally, globally recognized as the world's #1 super heavyweight arm wrestler, Mr. Lavan Saganashvili of Georgia. Lavon, welcome to the show, mate.
Hello.
And, it's big match day, brother. You must be excited. This is getting serious.
It is time.
Now, Lavon, let's start with the sort of hard-hitting questions in the sort of cauldron of emotion. During the build-up to this match for King of the Table 4, you've remained super dignified. You've remained, in some fans' opinions, withdrawn from this whole process. You've wanted to stay out of the way. Has that been a conscious, strategic move in order to retain your mental focus, your mental clarity on the match? And if so, how difficult has it been for you to not engage with Devon's physical and emotional jousting heading into this? In terms of trying to wind you up a little bit, trying to get you to engage, has it been hard for you?
I thinking only about training this time, and only what I do when I preparation for this match. Only training, sleep, eat, and doing my job.
Purely physical, no mental.
Yeah.
Do you feel, obviously you're a proud man, and for those people who don't know Lavan, I think anybody that's close to you knows that you're a very warm, very genuine individual. Does it hurt when you feel like you're under attack from fans, from people that don't know you?
No, it is for me, give me more power and more
Determination.
Motivation.
Motivation.
Yes, it's for me. It is good because when we starting this match, my motivation not very higher and not very big level, but.
Why was that, Lavan? Why were you not motivated early on? Did you not see Devon as a threat at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I see how Devon training, how he's seriously doing his job, that trash talk, all give me more motivation, and I think it is for me. It is good.
Lavan, can you just go closer to the mic, mate, just so they can hear you good? Now, another question that a lot of people have talked to us about is the fact that you were perceived as being this unbelievably powerful entity, super strong within the sport, but not necessarily a technician, not necessarily someone who is versatile, who's well-rounded, maybe because you've never been really tested to that level. But does the general sort of perception surrounding your physical strength advantages heading into this match inspire confidence in you? Or alternatively, does it create additional pressure in your mind?
Last matches, last years, I winning very easy, and I not need that for big technique or I have more power for my opponents, and I winning very easy. I don't know tomorrow.
Do you feel tomorrow if do you sort of agree with, or would you endorse the perception that there is going to be a significant gap in physical strength? Do you think you're going to be a much stronger man than Devon tomorrow, or do you feel like small amounts of difference in strength look much bigger in an arm wrestling match?
I know I'm stronger, but.
But why are you so small, Lavon, if you're so strong? Why didn't you at least put on some muscle? I told you to get bigger like such a long time ago, and you really didn't do anything. Like, it looks like you just ate a Pizza Hut for the last 2 months. You said you trained. It looks like just a big... It's just soft, Lavon. It's not real muscle.
What he's saying is maybe there's some vision problems with the age.
No, I can feel it. I can feel it. It's
so
like
for those of you who couldn't hear that, Lavan's answer, he said, maybe you're looking the wrong way, mate. There's some vision problems. He's confident in
maybe
that.
You are so old.
The thing is, you know how they say, like, what weighs more, 1,000 pounds of porridge or 1,000 pounds of steel? It's like, well, I'd still rather be like 300 pounds of steel than 1,000 pounds of porridge. Like, I just basically said you're fat, Lavon. That's it. Just said you're fat.
I'm fat? Okay.
That's it. That's all I really said.
So let's...
You should get a better translator next time, too, for your contract, Lavon, not just for stuff like this.
Well, Lavan's saying when you train, only your head gets bigger and your belly.
Right. Well, we all know how important the head size is for arm wrestling. We all know that the guy... Isn't that right, Corey? Right? Future world champ right there. Okay, I'll hold on to it while I can. How big is your head, Lavon? Have you measured it? Small. Small head.
He's saying, as you said, it's important, the head size. It's bigger than yours, so that's props to him.
Well, how big?
It's like you shouldn't compete with me with the sizes of anything.
Really? Really? That's impressive. Jesus. That is very impressive. Lavon, I'd love to... We should make another video. Follow Larry Wheels on OnlyFans. Okay, we'll do a special release on Larry's channel later, and we'll put an end to all the speculation.
So, bringing these guys back on track for a moment, Lavan, I want to stick with you for a second. The general consensus among many of arm wrestling's leading commentators has been that whilst you are too strong for Devon physically and be able to simply run through him, maybe without ever being slowed down, should that strength gap be close, and if the match was to stop, do you believe that you have the technical well-roundedness to be able to defeat some of Devon's tricks, some of Devon's style, guile, things that he'll bring into there which they're not in the textbook. They're things that he has created over hours and hours at the table. Do you think you can handle the King's move? Do you think you can handle some of the issues, some of the tricks?
რო ეხა რაც მე ლაპარაკეთ ხო ანუ რაც მკითხეთ ხო вообще ანუ აზრი არ აქვს ხო რა პასუხისგაცემას.
What's Lavan saying is that there's so much difference in strength, in power, that none of that really makes any difference. You know, like what you've said, technical side, it doesn't. You know, it's a secondary.
I hope you like surprises, Lavon. Do you like surprises?
And King's move, it is not technique.
Oh, you'll find out if it's technique. I love it when people say the King's move is not technique. Man, that is the most European thing I've ever heard in my life.
This is clone technique.
Is what?
Clone technique.
Clone technique. Oh, I thought he said clone. I wasn't sure. I thought it was like a clone technique. Lavon, I don't care. I'll beat you with clone technique. I'll beat you any way I can beat you. I just hope that you're man enough to accept it. That's what you should work on. Be man enough to accept when you're wrong. Be man enough to accept when you lose. When I beat you with King's move, I suggest go back to Georgia.
Your dreams end tomorrow.
Do they?
Your dreams
sure?
end tomorrow.
Yeah. Are you sure?
Have you amended your training, Lavan, to adapt for the King's move? I mean, we just seen your teammate, your training partner.
It's called clone technique.
The clone technique of the King's move. So the hashtag clone technique, the King's move. Have you adapted your training there? I mean, we've just seen Gennady Quickvinia pull with Mike Todd. We've seen Rivas do the same and had some success there. Have you been sort of speaking to these guys about what you need to do, and have you worked diligently in the gym to try and adapt for the King's move? Are you prepped and ready for that?
No.
Same as usual. Nothing changed. Yeah.
Very confident in strength, in power, and the fact that that will win over on the day. Okay. Another thing I wanted to put to you, Lavan, is obviously when you started, when this process started, you said yourself that you were not too concerned about Devon. You didn't think that Devon would be a real threat to you. He wasn't at that level, and you weren't really motivated. You said that obviously when you saw how diligently the man's doing his job, how diligently he's prepared for this match, your opinions have changed. Are you concerned about, are you aware of the fact that there's been almost a shift within the general public's expectations with regard to Devon's chances in this match? Do you sort of understand why that is? Is it just a popularity thing, and does it concern you?
This is for sport, it is good, I think, for us.
Like when I beat you, it's good for sport? With my clone technique?
What Lavan's trying to say is good for the sport, that there is different sides and different expectations. So it's good for the sport, and it makes it more exciting and more something to look forward to for everyone.
Now, I want to come back to you, Devin. I know that you are not too concerned really about the public's perception of you, about whether or not people believe that you can win. I know you well enough to know that's not why you're here in Dubai, that you've come here to know in your own mind. This is a challenge for yourself. You've set your objectives and you're working towards those objectives, as you've done in so many ways throughout your life. But when you reach this point, you're right there on the precipice. Is it difficult to stay focused, to keep on the path? Are you now full with nervous energy? or are you quite relaxed knowing that the state of preparation that you've reached is as good as it possibly could have been?
Everything has been perfect. My preparation has been perfect. I've put my entire career, my entire life's knowledge into this match, and surprisingly, training has been flawless. What I'm bringing to the table is the most prepared, most experienced version of myself that has ever lived. I would win against myself pre-surgery, post-surgery versus Michael Todd. It will take an astounding arm wrestler to beat me tomorrow. I have respect for Lavon. However, arm wrestling is much more than a bicep curl. It's much more than the wrist curl. I will come at Lavon like no athlete has ever come at him before. And he will not be ready for that. He thinks he's ready right now. He thinks it's going to be another gym session. He thinks he's going to be training with the Rackley. I'm not a Rackley. I'm no one you've ever faced before. And I will use any means necessary to defeat you, regardless of what the fans think, regardless of what the community thinks. I'm only here to win. That's it.
Devin, have your opinions about Lavon genuinely changed during the build-up to this match? And has your respect for Lavon as an arm wrestler been tainted or negatively impacted by his withdrawal from the sort of promotional process that you were concerned about previously?
I understand that Lavon is young. I understand that Lavon may have had a miscommunication dealt to him. However, I also understand that he withdrew from communication, and I also understand that he did not seek clarification on very important points. I also understand that he lacks the will to engage fully in this conflict. And there will come a point when there are no options to disengage and there are no longer options to push it to the side. And that's the moment I'm waiting for. I'd arm wrestle you starting right now, Lavon. If you want to arm wrestle right now, we could have a warm-up if you'd like. Would you like to have a warm-up?
Tomorrow I warm up.
Tomorrow's going to be my warm-up.
I like the way you think. It's always good to be underestimated.
Obviously, Lavon is very confident in his physical capabilities and the strength advantage he's got tomorrow going into this. The myth and legend around that's been bought into by the fans of the sport, Devon. Where do you sit on that? Do you still see Lavon as being untouchably strong, physically strong, or do you feel that you've closed that margin greatly?
It's hard to measure arm wrestling strength. There's a lot of positions in arm wrestling. We're not doing the same exercise. It's whoever can attain superior positions, whoever is more familiar, more comfortable moving through the ranges. Lavon is unquestionably strong. I can't do the things he does. It's as if I was arm wrestling a 185-pound arm wrestler. Lavon's forearm is 2 inches bigger than my upper arm. But I know that there's things that I'm going to do that he's not ready for. I know that. I'm going to do the clone move. And I don't think he's ready for that.
Lavon, obviously we're hearing from Devin there that he believes that he is a different type of arm wrestler than anyone you've ever faced before. What would your response to that be? And do you think that he has ever faced anyone like you before?
ანუ მე არ ვიცი თქო ეგეთ შეხვედრივად თუ არა თქო მაგრამ ის რო ჩემნაირს არ შეხვედრილა ეგ ვიცი
Lavan saying that, yeah, I've never met anyone like him. He's certainly very unique. He's got a very unique style, like nobody else. But I'm also sure that he's never met anyone like me. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow how it goes.
And Levin, I'm going to go back again to your sort of opening comment about the fact that when this process started, you didn't believe that Devon was a legitimate threat to your number one status in the world. Is the man that sat across from you now a man that you believe is a genuine threat to your number one position?
He's saying, should I be honest? Should I be dead honest?
I want you to be absolutely 100% brutally honest.
He has 0%.
0% chance to win tomorrow for Devon.
It's really great. I love to be discounted. I love it when people say 0% chance. But Lavon, you're such a liar. Like, you're such a liar. You're such a faker. If you really thought it was 0, then why did you train so hard? Why did you freak out about the rules? Why are you pretending to be sick? Like, if you weren't really worried, you just be good and you just fight me. To say 0%, I mean, it's crazy. 1% now?
Not cry. One day and...
Lavon, I love it how you accuse me of crying, but you were the one posting stuff on the internet about how I had the favored rules and how my sport is arm wrestling, not strap wrestling, trying to make excuses before the match even started. What do you have to worry about, Lavon? I'm like a fraction of your size. You're super strong. You're super big. If you really thought 0%, you'd just be cool. You'd shut up. You'd show up. You'd beat me.
Are you upset for me saying that?
Am I upset that you say 0? I'm really actually really happy because, you know what? It's supposed to be 0, Lavon. It's supposed to be. I've had surgeries. I'm 47. I'm not supposed to beat you. But if I do, if I do beat you with this 0% chance, it's going to be so incredible for me and for you. I will have become your teacher.
For
Lavon.
this match, you talk.
I will be
all
your
day.
teacher.
Talk
Lavon.
all day.
After I teach you tomorrow, you will look at things totally different. You will realize that you don't need to eat Big Macs and do bicep curls. You need to go to the club. You need to get some better training partners, and you need to arm wrestle a lot. And that'll be good. It'll be a great gift that I give you. It'll be my gift to you.
You end?
My gift to Georgia.
Okay,
to
guys.
You, Lavon, when I beat you.
Tomorrow you call me your king.
Lavon, hey, listen, why don't you get your own lines, dude? I said I'm your king. You said, you know, you need to become more original. You need to get a better writer, a better translator, and you need to start arm wrestling, Lavon. You need to learn the clone move. And then I will respect you, Lavon. Until you do it, you know what, listen, if by chance you do get up on me, which I don't think it's going to happen because I'm so huge and I'm so powerful, but if by chance you manage to get anything on me, please do the clone move on me. And then I will really smile. It'll warm my heart, and that will be your gift to me.
You have very nice dreams.
I do. I'll share my dream that I had last night with you later. It's pretty good. Pretty good dream.
So we got a few questions.
I watched you on TV the other day, Lavon. Yeah, that's where I got my ideas from.
You end?
Yeah, I watched you on TV.
It is good. You end.
I'm saying you finished. So, we got some questions from the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're entertained out there. Hope you're enjoying this. The guys are getting a bit bristly up here. We got one from DCS Beamer. Thanks for your super chat, mate. And he has put, could we have a look at the Legacy Hammer? Do we have the Legacy Hammer on site, guys, anywhere here?
No, it's in my hotel room. It'll be here probably tomorrow. You get to see it, Lavon. You get to see the Legacy Hammer. Yeah.
Thanks for your super chat, DCS Beamer. We've got another one from Asim Basakai. And he's put, can you ask Lavan to say if he dies, he dies? We've obviously got a Rocky IV fan in the chat. I'm not sure he's going to entertain you with that one. I don't think it's going to happen. You feel like Ivan Drago here, mate? I think they're trying to typecast you. They've got a guy in here who wants you to say, if he dies, he dies. What do you think? Yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm not Russian, I'm Georgian.
Yep, there you go. There's your answer to that one. So, Anthony Bowman with a chat, and he's put, Devin, your victory will be so sweet. Party on, brother.
Hey, thank you. Isn't that the truth? My victory will be so sweet. My victory will be the sweetest gift. Thank you for recognizing that. Lavon, you hear that? Talking about how sweet my victory will be?
When I win, I give you some Georgian sweets and you can...
You carry those around. Lavon, you need to get in better shape.
He's saying that's the only way it's going to be sweet. If he gives you some sweets after the victory.
I can't wait. Seriously, guys. I'm so excited about tomorrow. I'm coming right at him. I'm coming right at this big rhino. He doesn't know it yet. He doesn't know. He doesn't think it's the truth. I'm coming right at him. He's going to learn about what frame arm wrestling is. He's going to learn that it's not just muscles, it's structure.
Oh, test your frame.
That's what it's all about.
I see you know have muscles.
Lavon, listen. You are like somebody took a plastic bag and filled it up with porridge, okay? Don't ever enter a bodybuilding competition. Stick to strongman. I know that you have muscles in there, but somebody told me the other day that my arm is actually bigger than yours. Do you think that's true? If you get rid of the extra? Do you think it's true, Neil? Is my arm bigger?
Too. There's a big arm.
Yeah,
You got
but
big.
it's-
I'd like to have an arm off.
It's like a big porridge
An
arm.
armathon. You're a very different build.
Yeah, totally.
No doubt about
totally
that.
different build.
So let's go back to some of our questions. And we got Resto with a chat. And he's put, this one is for Devin. How much time will pass after Lavan's match till you come up with a new excuse for dodging Europeans? You only face Lavan because you have nothing to lose. What do you say to that?
It's just ridiculous. You know, I would love to go back through my arm wrestling history and tell you Europeans that I've defeated. I mean, who are some of the greatest champions that you can think of in Europe? Oleg Zak, Andrei Pushkar, Denis Saplenkov, Lavon, okay? And how many Europeans came to face me in the greatest league that was running, the World Arm Wrestling League? It was open for all of you. Where were you? Why do you accuse me of running from you when I was in an exclusive contract in the most fertile ground in arm wrestling? Okay? Come to where the party's at. Don't hide in a cave and say, oh, why don't you come and beat me in my cave? You know, like, come into the light and face me. I will go wherever the brightest light is, wherever the greatest prize is, and I'll face the greatest arm wrestler that I can face. To say that I hide from Europeans, come to me.
We're getting some questions fed in all the time here, guys, and here we go. Devon, this is from Sam B. A little bit of a different tone. He's more of a Devon fan, Sam B, and he's put, Devon, when you stop the match, are we going to hear, yeah, big boy?
I think that even without saying it, I think that people will hear it. I'm really just concerned about the fight itself. I'm really concerned about victory. I'm concerned about the recognition that Lavon will give me. That's really what I'm seeking. The nod that Lavon will give me when his brow is covered in sweat and he has no more air left in his lungs. That's what I'm looking for, not necessarily the words to come out of my mouth. I'm looking to defeat this champion. I'm looking to climb Everest.
Lavan, are you prepared for, expectant of a battle tomorrow? Do you feel like there's any chance that come round 3 tomorrow, this is a much harder match than you envisaged? And if so, if it turns into a war, are you ready to face that?
To be honest, I don't think there will be any battle. It's not gonna take much time. But I hope it will be, because that's what I'm looking for. I want it to be interesting, because it's been a while since I had the arm wrestling match.
It's been a while since he had an arm wrestling match. That's something not many of us can say. We got a question for you, Lavan, from Desperation Pinocchio. This is for you, mate. And he's put, Lavan, when Devin wins, will you recognize him as the new king of Georgia and bow down to him after the match? Devin all the way. 6-0 Canada, and the world loves you. What do you say to that, mate?
Excellent question, Desperation Pinocchio. I was curious about the same thing.
Lavan's saying that Georgia had never had weak kings, such weak kings before, so it's not possible. It's not a possibility.
It wasn't the question for Irakli? Wasn't even. Yeah. No. We know that Lavon doesn't. Lavon thinks people need to be obese to be kings, but I'm actually worried. I think the question was for Irakli. Irakli's a fit guy. Irakli knows what it means to be in shape.
Irakli does wear skinny jeans, which is a brave thing.
Yeah. So maybe Irakli's taste will be a little bit better.
I mean, anyone who wears skinny jeans, you know they're a contender. Now, Juji Mugu with a chat. And this is a great chat. He's put, will Devon donate his shaved hair to Matt Mask?
Hey, Matt and I have big plans. We are the more bald we get as time goes on, we want to get infused hair from every race across the globe. So, yeah, that could probably start with Matt and I sharing each other's hair, and then to Africa, to Asia, all around the world, to Georgia. Lavon, I'll get some of Lavon's chest hair and put it in my head.
Okay, one more question that's come in. Devon, if you had to describe Lavon with just one word, what would that word be?
Pussy. That's it, Lavon. That's it. It didn't take me long to think of it. Are you going to hit me? No.
He's saying he's not going to hit you. It's all good. Shouldn't
It's all
be worried.
good. Okay. We'll sort it out tomorrow then.
You're not my level.
We will find out who's on whose level, Lavon.
Not only in arm wrestling, in personality too.
Ladies and gentlemen, these guys have talked and talked. These guys have given us an incredible build-up for what promises to be an incredible night of arm wrestling. Please make sure that you support Core Sports and go get the pay-per-view. Link in the description for the greatest night of arm wrestling in recent times. Saturday night, tomorrow night, Lavan Saganashvili, No Limits, Devon Larratt, Marcio Barboza, Irakli, Alex Kadetcha, Corey West. It's on here in Dubai, King of the Table 4. Please support the show, guys. We look forward to seeing you all tuning in tomorrow night for the most highly anticipated arm wrestling match potentially in history. Ladies and gents, thank you for your attention. We are going to stand these guys up and get a face-to-face. Lavon, Devin, can we get you head-to-head shot, mate? I'll get out of the way. You stand either side, please, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Tomorrow night, Dubai, the space. The 25th, it's on. One true king. King of the table 4 here in Dubai. Devin, Lavon, good luck, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for tuning in tomorrow night. Oh, excuse me, we're going to do some more face-offs. I would have done these guys first. It's so hard to run this thing and keep your eyes on what's going on out there. Let's get Corey West up here, Alex Kadechia. And can I just say for everybody watching, I feel a lot more confident when these two guys step together because they're genuinely nice. I'm a bit concerned about the other two. Corey West, ladies and gents, the gorilla from the United States of America. From Poland, Alex Kadechia. Tomorrow night, the 25th, King of the Table 4, it is on. Irakli Zirakashvili, Marcio Barboza will start the fireworks tomorrow night. Georgia versus Brazil. Ladies and gentlemen, what a night of action. These two kick it off. We go to USA, Poland. We finish with Canada versus Georgia. King of the Table 4. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gents, everybody out there. This was the press conference for the big one. Have you got your pay-per-view? Go buy it now. Link's in the description. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hey, good job, man.